The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Society is to submit. Birth control are the pills of the devil. Education is so fundamental to the development of a people. Hang murderers. Simple as that. What am I voting for? Voting will change nothing.
Tout le monde haïtien, como ye. God save the Queen.
It is Monday, the 2nd of October, 2017. It is a rainy day here in the Western District of New Providence, broadcasting live from ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. Welcome to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I'm also a member of the local Catholic Christian community. Well, the breaking news around the world is a white American by the name of Stephen Paddock. He's 64 years. He committed one of the greatest terrorist acts in the United States of America. This 64-year-old white man, last night, early this morning in Las Vegas, as thousands of American citizens celebrate some cultural festival, this white terrorist went on the 32nd floor of a hotel and he carried out some of the most heinous acts. And when it was all over, 54 white Americans, it appeared, and over 500 others were either dead and or wounded. Well, that is the price that the United States of America pays for what it calls the Second Amendment, the right for its citizen to bear arms, including assault weapons, weapons that are used on a military field. I'm going to talk about the United States and the stupidity of their argument. I shall also compare them with Great Britain, a nation who has had a democracy perhaps from 1066. And of course, I shall look at local happenings here in the Bahamas. For the first 18 minutes, I shall have a Negro musician who will be with me. I'll introduce you to him for the first 18 minutes. And of course, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis has landed in Dominica. And of course, the Minister of Education, Jeffrey Lloyd, is now the acting Prime Minister. It is my hope that he would now pay the workers while Dr. Minnis is not in the Bahamas. So Jeff Lloyd is acting Prime Minister, and he's also the acting Minister of National Security. So there's a lot of things to talk about. Meanwhile, a whole white woman and at least 2 Negro males, we are hearing reports, have been murdered in the Bahamas. So they are some of the things that are taking place, and we'll discuss that, including a visit to me by the district education superintendent, Howard Newbold. You will recall that I told you about his acting niece, Phyllis Johnson, the headmistress at Stephen Dillis. When I come back, I'll tell you what Howard Newbold says about the alleged acting niece. This is Freedom March. I'll be right back after a break.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV here in Nassau, Bahamas. And I have a special guest for the first 18 minutes. And after that, I will look at international news and the local news taking place here in the United States and in the Bahamas. And I told you earlier that a 64-year-old white American, he carried out perhaps one of the worst terrorist attacks on mainland America. I'll talk about that after my guests leave. It is a pleasure to welcome a young musician and a rap artist, Mario Woodside, who is also known as Sasha Dunn. Mario, welcome to Freedom March.
It's good to meet you, Rodney. The man, the myth, the legend, Rodney Monker.
Well, I thank you for those kind words. Mario, you have produced a video tape called The Big Bang.
Yeah.
And I've had an opportunity to look at the videotape, and you give us a history of what appears to be, my word, the black struggle.
Yeah.
Give us an idea of your concept of the Big Bang. And look right at camera 3.
Oh, well, The Big Bang Theory was a video shot by a friend of mine, Seven Williams of Lead Studios. And the whole concept of the video was to actually just to show Nassau from where we came from and to where we at now and where we're trying to get to, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And also the song itself also incorporates a speech given by Marcus Garvey. And my whole thing was just to show my people, because a lot of us heard the name Marcus Garvey before, may have heard it in passing, but a lot of us may not even know who this man is or even know how he looks.
Okay.
Given the fact that this is one of our great African black heroes, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's my goal, to try and present this paradigm to our people, because a lot of us, like take for instance, the one greatest trick I always show my people is the fact that I feel like there's a curse on us in a sense.
A
And
curse?
it's a curse, or better yet, incorrect programming in our brain.
Okay.
See, because I like to look at human beings as being biomechanical machines, like very advanced computers. I mean, not computers, but rather robots.
Okay.
So if we think about it in the sense of, like, let's say a phone, to get a phone to work, it needs the hardware and it needs the software to work.
Yes.
So if you put the wrong software on that machine is not going to work correctly, you see?
Okay.
So I feel like that's the problem with us as the darker skinned people.
Would that not be then as a result of slavery and colonialism?
Yeah, that's the direct effect of it, you know what I'm saying? And I feel as if we as the Negroes or the black skinned people, we don't address this. Because slavery and colonialism was almost like mass molestation almost. And if you realize with most people who've gone through that, they don't talk about that. So we as a collective, we don't talk about our
In your video, do you attempt to talk about it?
Yeah, see, because with the speech that I use for Marcus Garvey, I mean, it may require some people to watch the video a couple times to catch his lingo, because for one, there's Marcus Garvey with a very heavy Jamaican accent, you know what I'm saying, from back in the day, and he talks very fast. So you have to probably like listen to it a couple times to really get what he's saying. And what he's saying is, if all other races have the ability to look at self through the spectacles of their own self, why is it the black race don't look at our divine, I mean, it's as simple as our divine creator through the spectacles of Africa or through the spectacles of a black person? Because whether we like to believe it or not, all of us went through this process where we went in our grandmother's house or our mother's house, and you see all these black people on the wall, you see all your family members on the wall, but then that one position of reverence in the house is given to this white man who looking in the picture, you know what I'm saying? And that white man is Jesus. I mean, and I'm not trying to cause any kind of controversy on your show and say that this is that or anything else. I'm just trying to say that causes an effect in our brain that then affects us to this day. because if you follow the laws of polarity, which is the laws of polarity work like this. If I say this is white and this is black, automatically, if I say that picture on the wall, which is Jesus, the white man, is God, automatically in the child's mind, the law of polarity takes place, which is, so if the white man is God, then what is black? Evil or wicked? And then you start to see it in our actions. Like, take for instance, if you get a young black male and you put him inside the ghetto somewhere, and he starts to articulate his words too correctly, what's the first thing they can say to him? Why are you trying to talk white? So to talk white, to talk intelligent is to talk white, and to talk dumb is to talk black. Then, you see what I'm saying? So,
Well, your video helped to liberate us.
well, see, it's my attempt to just basically because I feel like in NASA 2017, we've somewhat lost sight of where we came from. Like a lot of us forget that our grandparents and our great-great-grandparents came from abject poverty. So we because we got so spoiled by this tourism money and drug money and all this other kind of money coming in, we feel as if the Bahamas is a first world country and we always been this way and we always been great and we always, you know what I'm saying? So we forget that we come from diving inside the water to collect coins from tourists and just sponging and just trying to survive. So that's what the video tries to do. The video attempts to try and show the people that, and inside the words itself, inside the song, it tries to like awaken the spirit in my people.
Why did you choose Marcus Garvey?
Oh, why did I choose Marcus Garvey? Reason being because to me, when it comes to Pan-Africanism, Marcus Garvey is like Jordan to Pan-Africanism. Like, there were black men who was doing the Pan-African movement, and by the way, to explain what the Pan-African movement is, to those who may have never heard this term before, Pan-Africanism is the belief that all black people are one and the same. It isn't a Trinidadian, it isn't Haitians, it isn't Bahamians. We're all just of one race. We came from the continent of Africa. And there were men like Booker T. Washington who was pushing this mindset. But then a man like Marcus Garvey came along and was like the Jordan to Pan-Africanism.
Are you aware that Marcus Garvey visited the Bahamas from time to time?
Mm-hmm. See, I like because the one thing I always try to do is I try to learn from those who came before me. Like I try to sit down with wiser, older men than me and learn from them. And one of the things I learned over the years was that if it wasn't for the Bahamas, we wouldn't have a Marcus Garvey.
Explain that for me.
See, because if we didn't have if we didn't have like this man by the name of Dr. Love, who sat down and educated Marcus Garvey on how to put together a printing press, how to properly run a newspaper, we would. I mean, the world may not have had Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? To awaken the spirit in black people in America, and then because the way I look at it is every tree has gives birth to another tree. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Garvey gave birth to that Pan-African movement, would then give birth to like people like Malcolm X to rise up and be proud of ourselves, and also Martin Luther King. See, because so if we didn't have Dr. Love or the Bahamas to give birth to a person like Marcus Garvey, we wouldn't have, we may not have had these other people to fall in line. You see, so that's why I felt I had to go to the root and try to show Marcus to our people. Because I feel like this is a very pertinent time in our history for black people in general, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the reason why I say it's a pertinent time, because if you follow what's going on this planet, I mean, like, if all of us are to truly follow what's going on this planet, like, take, for instance, the big thing was, the world coming to end in 2012.
2012?
Yeah, we
Shucks, they were talking about the world coming to an end in 1914, the Jehovah Witness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, but then the crazy part is the big difference between 1914 and the 2012 event is, in 2012, something happened in 2012 that never happened before, which is
What was that?
the Mayan calendar came to the fulfillment, which is not the fulfillment, but it came to an end. They said the Mayans predicted back then that there would be an end of time. Now, a lot of us took that to mean, the world can come to end, one shot. If this device, by the way, the Mayan calendar wasn't developed by the Mayans first off. The Mayan calendar was developed by an African race that predates the Mayans. And that African race that existed inside the Americas before the Mayans was called the Olmecs. And the Olmecs was chartering these stars and following the movement of the stars, because that's all the calendar did, follow the movement of the stars. Now, the reason why I mentioned this whole thing with 2012 is because this is something we as black people have to pay very close attention to, you see? Because in 2012, the world didn't come to an end. But if you have a deep freeze, and I unplug your deep freeze today, will your meat go rotten in the next hour?
I'm not sure.
No, your freezer will need time to defrost and then melt down, then get hot, and then start rotting. And it'll take probably maybe like a 2-day process.
Okay.
So what happened in 2012 was this. If you track, if you go on Google right now, you could track and you realize the hottest year in human recorded history was in 2016. The hottest year before that was 2015. The hottest year before that was 2014. So progressively, every year since 2012, this planet has been heating up hotter than before, which tells us that in 20 years or 10 years time, if you don't have melanin in your skin, this planet is not going to be the place for you. You feel what I'm saying? And that's reality. And this isn't something I'm making up. This is reality. So if reality is showing you that the power of melanin in our skin, and by the way, for those who may not know, melanin is the pigment in our skin that makes black people black. And I implore anybody to go and study and this in itself shows. I mean, this is why I try to take this vein and educate my people, because I realize one of the greatest mysteries in this world to black people is black people. Believe it or not. See, because if you ask the average black person to name you 3 great black people before slavery, they can't do it. You feel what I'm saying? And this is no insult to them saying that we crazy, but this is how the world is designed.
It's the damage that has been inflicted upon black people by virtue of slavery and colonialism.
Yeah.
How then do you deal with that? How do you get around that?
See, well, I like to look at it from systems that work. Like and a system that to me that works is like the 12-step program the AA uses, which is as soon as alcoholics go in, the first thing the alcoholic has to do is he has to admit he's an alcoholic. Because if he doesn't do that, then he doesn't see a problem to fix.
How do you compare that with black people?
First,
what is it that you are asking
black people to do?
Yeah.
We have to admit to ourselves that there is a programming in our mind that has gone wrong, or that has gone awry. And the proof is in the pudding. Reason being, every morning you wake up, every morning, let's take this away from the whole concept of America, England. Let's look at the Bahamas right now, Nassau. Every morning we wake up, we don't hear about another white boy shooting another white boy. We don't hear about an Indian shooting another Indian.
What you mean? What you talking about?
No. I said Nassau. I said Nassau.
Well, this is now a global village.
I know it's a global village.
Stephen Paddock.
I know
A
that's
64-year-old white American.
short of the place.
He appears not to like white people. He's a racist. And he's killed over 58 white people and wounded over 500 white people.
See, well,
Certainly, this is a racist who don't like white people.
no. See now with Steve Piper, in his case, it may be a little different because he is a terrorist. He terrorized, and he says that he doesn't like because most times when it comes to this,
You look to me like you're trying to find an excuse for this.
No.
man.
I'm
The
trying
man is a terrorist.
No, he is a terrorist.
Don't mind that the Americans might
Don't
not
call him a
think
terrorist.
that. No.
Uh-huh.
That they might not think so.
Uh-huh.
All right? But he's a terrorist.
No, he is a terrorist, and I totally agree with you,
Okay.
100%. See, but the whole thing, what I'm saying is, Mr. Paddock, usually when you see these white boys wild out inside America and do the kind of stuff like the last time we saw something that was Timothy McVeigh inside the Oklahoma City bombing. Usually their goal is not to necessarily blow up and say they're going to hurt white people, but their goal is to fight against what they call a black or a minority-loving system.
That's very contradictory.
I know.
All the people I saw on TV was white people.
Mm-hmm.
All the people who appear to have been shot is white.
White people.
All those who have been wounded is white.
See now.
And he
Himself is white.
had to have seen that they were white people.
See now, inside the minds of these people,
You're going into the white man mind?
No, that's a hard and a dark place to go into.
That man is a gangster.
Yeah, he's a teaser.
Please don't go into his mind.
See, yeah, because
Please don't find no excuse for him. You sound just like them white people in America.
No.
Please don't be stupid.
No, I'm not trying to find no excuse for him because the next thing is to show how funny it is. Because I was talking to someone before I came here about him, and to show you how this American system almost controls our mind remotely. Which was that I was talking to my friend. I was like, "Yeah, the guy Paddock, he's a terrorist." He's like, "No, he was a Muslim." And I was like, "Hold on, what?"
Okay.
So you're trying to tell me to be terrorist, you have to be a Muslim or be brown?
You better watch the clock and
Yeah.
come back to the video. You got 3 minutes.
Yeah,
more.
yeah. But
So, this video,
Uh-huh.
is it for sale?
well, the video it can be viewed on YouTube or it can be viewed on Facebook.
So if somebody wants to see it, where can they go to see it?
Or they can go on YouTube and see it on YouTube. It's on YouTube as 100.
What name?
You just type in Sasha Dunn, SASHADUNN,
Okay.
or Big Bang Theory, or they can go on Facebook because it's on Facebook too. On Facebook, it has like 80,000 views on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, it's moving pretty big on Facebook, and also the video is
So
also
on Facebook, if I wanted to see it, where should I look?
Oh, once again, go on my page, Sasha Dunn, SASHADUNN, or just type in Big Bang Theory Sasha Dunn. It's going to come up. Also, the video is also on Tempo. You can request on Tempo. Also, the video is also on Channel 44 in Africa. It's also being broadcast to the whole African continent, actually.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Wow, you're doing some heavy Pan-Africanism, eh?
Yeah, the goal is to try unite our people because, like I say, to be very honest with you, people, we are very lost people. So, and I'm not trying to say I'm a messiah or some kind of savior, but I feel like how Lao Tzu said, the journey of 1,000 steps start with one step. So the one step is for me to try and at least make a one step towards helping my people. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Have you thought about going to the University of the Bahamas to speak to some of the Negro students there?
Oh yeah, actually that's a program I'm trying to work on right now. My goal was to try to get to Stephen Dillard actually because I graduated from Stephen Dillard.
You're a graduate of Stephen Dillard?
Yeah, I graduated from Stephen Dillard and C.I. Gibson, by the way.
Okay, well, let's...
Yeah, I come from the ghetto universities.
Okay. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm hoping that you will continue your message.
Oh.
You have to do more research.
And this is a CD for anybody who wants. There's a CD I'm giving to you, Rodney.
Okay.
And also my CD is being sale. You can check on any gas station, anywhere like that. The CD be sale.
Your CD is sold in gas station.
Yeah.
Tell us what it costs.
Oh, just $2.
$2?
$2 joints. Yeah.
$2.
$2 joint. I call them the $2 joints. It's $2.
$2 joint.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sasha, I'm done. Any final thing you want to say to the community? Because the clock is counting down.
Well, the one thing I'd say is people, let us no longer be a phenomenon to ourselves. Because power is the ability to find phenomenon and make it act in a desired manner. And we have to get power over ourselves. And the power over ourselves is to know who we are. Once we figure out who we are and we find out who self is, no one could ever trick us again into being in this predicament we're in. Because it's a universal thing. Because whether you look inside Trenchtown or you look inside Beantown or you look inside New York City, it's the same thing. So just people, study self. Study our history, African history.
Well, Sasha, I thank you. And like the Africans would say, Uhuru.
Yes.
Freedom.
Yes, sir.
Take good
All
care.
day. Freedom March.
Don't leave the chair. Stay right here until it's all over. This is Freedom March. I'll be right back after the break.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker, and I'm joined in studio by my spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll. Bradley, welcome to Freedom
Thank
March.
you. Thank you, Mr. Monker.
Well, it's been a long weekend,
Yeah.
and of course, you are aware that the murders has increased here in the Bahamas.
Once again,
Yeah, because in your neighborhood,
right at my doorstep.
a whole Negro man was murdered.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on Cat Island, we had a white American who was found murdered. And we are also advised that her vehicle, my spiritual advisor, was destroyed. Meanwhile, the acting minister of national security, Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Minnis, departed the nation's capital for Dominica,
Dominica.
where I'm advised he and a number of cabinet ministers are touring the devastation. And we are also told that your good friend, Deacon Jeffrey Lloyd, is now the acting Prime Minister. Isn't God wonderful?
All the time. All the time.
And I would want to think...
He is the acting Prime Minister?
Yes, he's acting Prime Minister.
Okay.
There was a statement issued by the cabinet.
Where's the deputy?
I don't know where the deputy is. Don't forget now.
That's Peter Tanquest.
Yeah. Things are rough in Grand Bahama. Grand Bahamian are calling me by the dozen, complaining
Yes.
over how horrible things are.
In Grand Bahama.
And what is happening is that, with the exception, praise the Lord, of the Reverend, what Brother McAlpine's name is?
Frederick McAlpine.
With the exception of Reverend McAlpine, he is the only FNM who seems to be concerned about the people of Grand Bahama.
But we all know what McAlpine's problem is.
Well, I think my
we all
spiritual
do.
advisor, you should be fair
Well,
to him.
I've seen something in the papers concerning that, so
It is the
let's be
works
fair.
of the devil.
Well, let's be fair.
Come on.
You know.
Every MP has a desire to become a minister.
But all can't.
You're missing the point. We're talking about desire
Okay.
to be a minister and eventually prime minister. So there's nothing wrong with McAlpine, because we know if McAlpine was prime minister, he would have put Bahamians first. He would have put the people of Grand Bahama first. I need to get McAlpine on the show. I think he would be a wonderful person to have on the show. But the murders are continuing.
And it's a sad thing. It's a sad
And
thing.
the FNM, who promised us that they had the solution to combat the murders, they are as stupid as the Americans. We saw in the United States just over the last couple of hours where a citizen, according to the Americans, who is protected by the Second Amendment, so he has a right to have assault weapon, submachine gun, all kind of gun. And so guess what happens? Because the Americans hide stupidly behind their Second Amendment. Lord, don't let the Americans hate me
the right to bear
for
arms.
speaking the truth. Let's look at what their Constitution say. It says, the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, and I quote, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." So they allow a 64-year-old man to have all kinds of weapons. Unlike another first world nation, Britain. Britain does not allow that. They have legislation to prevent citizens from just having all kind of guns. So they say they're protecting. That is the problem that the Bahamas government has had as it negotiates with the government of the United States of America over the importation of illegal weapons. They talk about their nation, their citizens having the right to bear arms. Well, America, your behavior was stupid. So you allowed a man to bear arms, right? So he take the arms up on the 32nd floor where thousands of decent white people are enjoying themselves, and under the disguise of Amendment 2, he lick off more shots. First, the Americans were fooled. They thought it was crackers. They're just like the Negroes here. Every time we hear a shot, we think it's crackers.
Firecracker.
Right. And then the next thing they know, people start falling down. All right? Why will you have a society unregulated? Okay? In Britain. Say, I'm not comparing. I'm going to compare a first world white nation, Britain, with America. The Americans obviously are stupid. They're silly. So as a result of that, a 64-year-old man was able to take all kinds of assault weapons, weapons for war, and he declared war on an armed group of people.
I
That's
understand.
terrorism.
Yeah.
And I've listened to United States news, and not one person in America called what that man did a terrorist act. So you see what's going on in the world? When the Americans are fooled by homegrown terrorists, that's terrorism that took place. And all them smart white people in America, they ain't bring up that word yet. All right, so guess what is going to happen? Because they have an illusion and continue to stretch. Amendment number 2, the right to bear arms.
They may not want to preempt that act, because here it is, you have this one person who is irrational in his thinking and also his actions. I mean, you don't want to jump the gun and call it outright terrorism. I mean, it is what it is.
My spiritual advisor,
it is
I do
what
not
it is.
want you to be
Understand that?
stupid
No, I'm just saying.
like some of the Americans.
It's just one
That's
out of what?
stupidity. That is not true.
1 out of 300 million?
Listen to me. They've
You see my point, right?
No. They've had all kind of mass killing, depending on who's standing behind the gun. That's when they call it terrorism. Okay? If it is a people of color, it's terrorists. If it's somebody whose religion is not consistent with Christianity, it's terrorism.
Right, I can understand that
But if
one,
a whole white man picks up assault weapon and kill white people, they find a psychological name for that. That's terrorism. Y'all stop being stupid. Y'all are powerful. Y'all are wealthy. Y'all got all the money in the world. And y'all got plenty sense. Stop being stupid. That's terrorism.
He did have an accomplice, did he?
I don't
Was
know.
somebody with him? Or he acted alone?
They say he lick off all them shot by himself.
Okay.
You notice he killed 58 people?
And wounded over
And
fi-
wounded
over
400 people?
Yeah.
We almost had a
That's-
similar incident over the weekend. One of the Bear Fests, according to a Negro colleague of mine, some Negroes opened fire as well.
Wow.
And since there are no reports of persons being injured, that has been suppressed.
Because the story's not carried.
All right? But that is what has happened. And so what we are saying, because America is liberal in the interpretation of their constitution, we, the Bahamas, has become a victim because guns and bullets are
Manufactured.
successfully smuggled into the Bahamas. But we see that the Americans are paying a price with having 58 citizens slaughtered and over 500 wounded. That's the price that they pay for what they call democracy. But actually, it's stupidity. That's what it is.
Well, that's the price of freedom,
That-
eh?
No.
Land of the free.
No. That's the price of being stupid. Assault weapons, weapons for war.
But don't forget, Mr. Manka, guns don't kill people,
Listen,
People with guns kill people.
listen. It is a stupid thing that the Americans are doing. And it is time some backward third world country like the Bahamas tell them, listen, y'all stupid? Y'all are stupid.
You sure you want to talk to America like
Of
that?
course, I'm going to say it like America. America is the most powerful nation on God's
Be
side.
careful when it's
And
time for you to travel now.
Listen, the day they tell me I can't travel to America,
You ain't going.
I could now tell my wife, leave me alone. All right? Because I scared a plane. So that don't bother me.
Yeah, it's sad though. It is a sad
Yeah.
day in America, definitely. And our hearts go out to all those victims who, families have been injured.
And they should blame it on their government.
I don't know if you could do that, Mr.
Yes, they
Montcalm.
can. They can blame it
You
on their
blame
government.
the act of one person
Listen to me.
on an entire nation.
In Great Britain, they don't have that. They don't have that. Because there are sensible legislation in place to regulate the possession of weapons. Assault weapons. Weapon for war. So what you think he did? He declared war. He's a terrorist. All right?
Yeah.
But the
I understand,
racism,
yeah.
hold on, the racism of the United States has clouded their view that they will come up with all kind of psychological reason. Chances are they may say he shoot because one day the teacher tell him he was ugly. or he's shooting because when he was 10, his daddy got drunk. They'll come up with all kind of stupid psychological reasons, right? When in fact, this man is a terrorist who has inflicted great harm on that nation. And the only way those things are going to be curtailed when sensible legislation are put in place.
This may be the start. I think a lot of folks been crying for a long time to change their
Take it from me,
gun rules. So
it will not.
this may be the start.
And I will show you the hands of the American. May I see that Negro F&M who was trained in the United States Armed Forces? The guy that I told you about. Put on the video. Put on the video. On Friday, I visited the Stephen Dillett School. A young man who is a torchbearer attempted to assault me and to disarm me and my assistant of my sophisticated equipments, which permits me to stream. Some years ago, he returned from, okay, tell me when I'm going to stop talking so the people can hear what is being said.
Back off. Back off and stop showing off. Back off. Back off. Back off. If you have a problem with me, call the police. I can't believe you're so stupid. Hold on a second.
Are they able to hear him? They can.
Goodness me.
Okay. This young man, when he returned to the
He's
Bahamas,
not wearing a uniform.
sometime either between 2010 or
She's
12,
not wearing a uniform.
he came dressed
Wearing a uniform.
in his United States Armed Force. He's a soldier trained in the United States. It's one of the reasons I remained calm. And I told him to stop showing off. Stop at the camera so that people could see him. Right? He is a trained soldier. He applied in 2012 to the DNA to become a candidate. The DNA refused. And I, at that time, was a member of the DNA, and I subsequently discovered that he was trained in the United States. This is the kind of Negro that the Americans train. And then they return to Nassau, and many people do not recognize that he is a good fighter, trained. I could see him dressed in his United States military uniform. And notwithstanding the fact that I have in my mind say, I'm going to forget it. The man is all over the place placing threat against me. But he's trained by the Americans. And I asked the Americans to take him back. All right? And in many developed societies, people returning to a country having been trained as soldiers, the security and the intelligence branch would keep an eye on them because he's a military man. A military man. You could see him bragging, dressed right down in his military uniform. And that is what we are faced with in this country. All right? And I would hope that somebody would tell him to behave himself and stop his threats. Other than that, I'm going to instruct Wayne Monroe to take out a private prosecution. That is what I'm going to instruct him. But he's a man who claims that he has been trained by the United States. And I accept it because I could see him in his United States uniform. I hope the Americans, if you all train this man, you all would speak to him. Say to him, notwithstanding the fact that he's a Bahamian, he apparently was trained in the U.S. All right? So this is what we are faced with, where, anyway, I should hope that someone would speak to him. He's an officer, a former officer, he claims, in the armed forces of the United States of America. And nobody could train a soldier better than the Americans. So I'll be no match for him. And I was wise to say to him, please stay distant and so forth. My spiritual advisor,
What was the purpose of your visit to the primary school?
I was sent for by workers and a teacher who were complaining. You see, many of the construction people who have done works in the school, they have not been paid yet. Now that Jeff Lloyd is the acting prime minister, this might be a good opportunity for him to go into the treasury and just pay the workers.
I don't know if it's that easy, but
I think he's acting prime minister.
yeah, I don't know if it works
right.
like that though.
He's acting prime minister. And workers are constantly complaining
Okay.
that they've not been paid. Today, I had 2 construction men who called upon me, and they're angry. They said, man, we didn't work and nobody would pay us. All right? That's what's taking place. If the people then work, Jeff should pay them.
Everyone
right.
should be paid if they work.
Yeah. But, you know, he's just been lousy. All right? Lousy, lousy, lousy. So, on Friday, when I visited Stephen Dillett,
Oh, Stephen did it. Okay.
I ran into a Negro lady who apparently is the new head mistress. And I asked her name, and she refused. She didn't want me on the campus. She came from the Sunderland's primary school, and Jeff Lloyd is making her the head mistress. Well, a Negro source told me that was District Superintendent Howard Newbold. Listen to the word, acting niece. I've never heard about an acting niece. Yeah, I've heard about a step niece, a niece, or so forth. But these Negroes are so sophisticated, right?
So she's acting like she's whose niece?
The district superintendent. Well,
Oh boy, Johnny.
Mr. Newbold called upon me on Saturday, and he's issued a statement.
Oh really?
Yeah. And,
So is she his niece?
well, he has issued a statement.
Okay.
He
Okay.
says that he would like for me to inform the public, one, that he has no niece,
Wow.
and that Miss Phyllis Johnson is neither his acting niece or adopted niece.
Okay.
So the country is so interesting.
Acting niece.
So he said he would like us here on Freedom March to
Clarify that.
withdraw it. So on behalf of Freedom March, I now wish to withdraw that Mrs. Phyllis Johnson, the new head mistress at Stephen Dillett, is not the acting mistress or the acting niece. All right? So that's what's going on there. Oh boy, our country is so, it's so exciting. Yeah. Today, we are receiving reports that the Department of Inland Revenue should have dismissed 122 contract workers. So all day, I've been waiting by my phone to receive my latest update. And so my source did not call me up to 2 p.m. this afternoon. It is my hope and prayer that the government would reconsider firing 122 Negro contract workers. And that is the report. But there's great hope, because we here at Freedom March, we have organized to march the second Saturday in October. And we are going to start the march at Windsor Park. Windsor Park is right there on Windsor Lane East and East Street. We have to march. Today, I was in the local food store, my spiritual advisor, when a Negro mother and her Negro teenage daughter stopped me And she said, Mr. Montker, I can't wait for the second Saturday in October.
To march with you.
And she wants to march. She's very upset over the fact that the F&M is failing to pay workers. She doesn't feel comfortable with the F&M government. She didn't expect all this kind of victimization. And I was so excited. You know what it is for you to be shopping, and a woman walks up to you and says she cannot wait, and she wants to march. All right? What are your views?
Wants to march. Mr. Montker, let me ask you a question. What result do you think is going to come out of these marches? Obviously, you have a reason to do it. So,
In a
what are you
democracy,
expecting?
in a democracy, right? The price of the democracy is the ability of the people to mobilize and to peacefully protest
Yes, yes.
against its government, thus bringing to the forefront of the government its grievances. So there are many people who are being denied social assistance, poor black people. There are many people who are working and can't get paid. There are many people who are living with the threats of being dismissed.
Right.
Those things cause stress and strife and tension in your society. So if you are able to mobilize and to peacefully protest, you might influence the government.
Okay, so you're hoping for definitely the march would get the government's attention, and hopefully you get a response from the government.
Yes,
Okay.
a positive response.
Okay.
Other than that, we lock the government down. You see, in a democracy, there are two lawful means by which you can move a government. You can either move the government in an election,
Voting
or you
process.
can move the government by going into the streets and not leaving until the government resigns and call a new election.
Okay.
That's how it's done in a democracy. And the history of the Bahamas in our political struggle, you would recall that on Black Tuesday, right, it was peaceful. And then in 1967, there was a peaceful revolution in which Pinling and the PLP ousted the UBP without bloodshed. So we have a history of peaceful struggles. And it is on that history that I stand. And it is on that history that I encourage thousands of people to join the march on Saturday. I think it's the 14th of October.
14th.
It's the second Saturday,
Second Saturday in this month.
in October.
Okay.
We have to march and motorcade because the F&M has a hog heart. Everybody got a hog heart. Menace got a hog heart other than for Dominica. All right? There it is, the Prime Minister gone flying to Dominica.
You don't really commit to that.
Meanwhile, in Andres, F&M supporters got a building loaded with the building material. And I call on the F&M and Andres, with all them building material, stop being mean. You hear me? Stop being a hog. I got the picture, you know. Stop being a hog. Open up the place and share the plywood. Not because Menace in charge and the F&M in charge mean that you should hog up the plywood. Stop it before I send the police there. Now share it and stop being a hog. All them plywood. It rained. When my house started leaking today, I remember the information the man sent to me.
Come on.
All that plywood up there in Andres. They accused the PLP. Now, the F&M fella, he hogging it up in Andres. I want Minister to talk to him. Tell him to share the plywood with the people there. And if you don't want to give the PLP none, well, don't give the PLP none. Just give it to the F&M. But you can't keep it for yourself. You cannot keep the plywood for yourself. And I say, if you don't want to give the PLP none, for Christ's sake, give the F&M it. But you can't keep all of that for yourself. Huh? Ain't nothing changed. Same thing Minister accused the PLP of. The F&M is perfecting it in Andres with a no good self. God forgive me for saying that. I'll be right back after the break.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this.
Casting live on ILTV here in Nassau, Bahamas. Let me start off by wishing the wife of Nicola Emmanuel Jacks, his wife Gloria Jacks, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sister Jacks. Listen, when you're going to have the party so I can be there, but have a happy, happy birthday to Sister Gloria Jacks. Before I deal with cracking the code and winning up to $50,000, I want to make an announcement. Tomorrow, the former Minister of Labor and National Insurance, the Honorable Shane Gibson, returns to court, to the magistrate court. I want all citizens who are interested in the rule of law and justice to come to court in solidarity with Shane Gibson tomorrow, Nassau Street Court. It's very important that you do so in view of the fact that we have seen where a judge of the Supreme Court was severely criticized to the extent that she had to issue a warrant of arrest for Mrs. Christina Thompson, and the other Negro person was convicted. So tomorrow, Shane Gibson go to court, and everybody should come there to stand in solidarity and to pray for him. And as usual, you are to keep everything peaceful and law-abiding. So that is very significant at this point. And what I'm going to do, we talk about cracking the code. It's amazing. I thought it would be very difficult to crack the code. And I'm amazed over how people are just winning. Goodness of mercy. I thought this was going to be hard. All right? Anyway, I'm authorized, Lord of mercy, I'm authorized to give you all a clue. Right? It's now down to $50,000. Win up to $50,000, earn 25 reward points, and take your chance at cracking our secret code. Play now at All Island Luck and at Ultra Games locations, as well as on our websites, mobile platforms, and kiosks. If you crack the code at level 1 with 6 digits, you can win $50,000. And you have 3 days to crack level 1. After 3 days, if nobody cracks the 6-digit codes, we'll give you a clue. We will reveal one of the numbers and move to level 2. Then for the next 3 days, you can attempt to crack the 5-digit code and win $50,000. So if no one cracks level 2 within 3 days, you get another clue, but it will cost you. At level 3, crack the 4-digit code for $5,000. But if you can't get the code, you'll get another clue and move to level 4, where you can win $500 by cracking the 3-digit code. We'll stay at level 4 until somebody cracks it. When that happens, we'll start all over again at level 1, and you'll have the chance to win $250,000 all over again. And for the first time ever, account and over-the-counter players can play via the in-store kiosk on the web or on your mobile. For web mobile players, simply visit either islandluck.com or ultragames.com and log into your account and select the Crack the Code link. For over-the-counter players, just select the Crack the Code link and enter the voucher code at the bottom of your ticket. On behalf of Island Luck and Ultra Games, good luck and happy cracking. Visit islandluck.com or ultragames.com for more information. And now, I shall tell my people, the Haitian people, first what the clue is. Tout le monde haïtien, bonjour. Clue là, c'est number 6. And for all the Bahamians, it's 6. That's the clue number, okay? Go make the $50,000. Seems to be paying more than the F&M insurance is paying. So that's what is going on. So, Gloria Jacks, happy birthday, okay?
Happy birthday, Miss Jacks. That's
Yes, Brother Jackson's wife.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful
Happy birthday.
Negro
Yeah, she's
lady.
a nice lady. Of course.
And of course, I want to salute Mrs. Princess Ferguson. Ha! I run into your daughter, Tasha DaCosta. And listen to me. I was so inspired when she said, Mr. Moncur, my mother is one of the woman them. And I said to Tasha, I said, listen, blessed is the woman who is the one of the woman them and who accept my leadership. For I shall stand up and fight for the woman them. So we're marching, and I expect thousands of women to show up because there's too much crime, too much murder, and too much unemployment, and too much victimization, and too many people who are working, and the F&M wouldn't pay them. See, Minister, gone to Dominica. Dominica got a whole government. He gone down to Dominica when he should have been here trying to fight crime. A whole white woman killed in Cat Island. A whole white woman killed. Then on Marshall Road, they kill a man. And then I got some report when I was coming here about another person who was murdered, too much murdered. And watch what is happening. The government is almost like the Americans. All right? They're pussyfooting. The Americans are pussyfooting, hiding behind the Second Amendment. I don't like to get in their business. It's a very powerful country. Right? And then they got big computer that just put your name in the computer. All right? So I try to keep with their business. But everywhere I go, the people them keep saying to me, man, you see all them people get shoot in Las Vegas. And I say to them, it's bad government. Got people walking up and down with assault weapon as if America is at war in America. So the white man, recognizing that he lives, God forgive me, in a society of educated people with stupid policies, he take his gun on the 32nd floor and shoot up all them people. Boy, it's amazing. You see why I don't go to America? I mean, it's dangerous in the Bahamas. But every time I think about America, I think about a stupid citizen with an assault weapon just licking off shots. And poor me, I wouldn't know where to run because I don't know America. At least in Nassau, I might stand a chance, all right? But that's what's going on. So here in the Bahamas, the murders, a whole white woman, and the boy in the car. And I believe the police got 3 suspects. Not since 1981 have we had a crime. 81? No, they hanged the fellas in 81. So it must have been between 78 and 80 when Hart and them, with his stupid self, got together with 2 guys and killed his own uncle. And then they burned him. Either it was Hart's uncle or the other 2 Negro men, one of their uncle. And must he burn him up or burn his car down? But the government of that day, the PLP, sent the 3 of them to the gallows. All right? So that is what is missing here in Nassau. This kind of nonsense, my spiritual advisor, taking place. So we have the march against the murders. And we have to pray ourselves. Because as people, we have the capability of also committing murder. Because the devil is busy, so you have to pray. You have to say, Lord, this can get me in trouble. Let me not do that. All right? So I just thought, and I'll read you something before we go to open up the phone. Now, there was a Negro woman who was arrested attempting to smuggle drugs into Her Majesty prison. Can you imagine that? You go to the prison to visit a loved one, and you think in this modern day that you could put drugs in food and fool the prison overseer? So let me read it to you. An adult Negro female is in custody after she was arrested at Her Majesty Prison for possession of dangerous drugs on Friday, the 29th of September 2017. Reports are that shortly before 12 noon, the Negro female was detained by the prison officials after they uncovered a quantity of marijuana concealed in a dinner plate she bought at the facility for an inmate. The police was notified, and the woman was subsequently taken into custody. Okay? And then, of course, I told you about the man who died after being fatally shot on Marshall Road. So the murders are increasing, all right? And the police have recorded the 106th homicide this morning. Following a shooting incident, police says that they are on the hunt for a Negro male who's believed to be responsible for an early morning shooting incident that left a whole man dead. Reports are that shortly before 3 a.m. Sunday morning, a man had just pulled up in his vehicle at his home located on Marshall Road when a male armed with a handgun approached and shot him before fleeing on foot. The man was rushed to hospital where he succumbed from his injuries sustained. And this incident comes after the confirmed murder, 107, of an American elderly woman, 74-year-old Janice Mildred Kissinger. She was last seen around 3:30 p.m. on Friday, the 29th of September, 2017, at Shanna's Cove Resort in North Cat Island, where she lived. Detectives found her body Sunday morning. 3 suspects are now in custody following this discovery. So you see what is taking place in the country, right? The country has lost sense of direction. Leadership is not doing anything, right? And when minister does something, he cries, all right? So that is what is taking place in the country. My spiritual advisor, go get some text. Let's open up these lines, okay? And Jerry Gordon. Jerry, you thought I forgot you, eh? Jerry, you have always been a good citizen, and I thank you for listening to Freedom March. And then, of course, I run into a Negro Bohemian, and his name is Kendrick Clark. Kendrick flattered me yesterday at Arawa Key when he told me that he listened to Freedom March from Arkansas, USA. Hey, Kendrick, I was happy to have met you. And there's some other citizens I'm supposed to do shout out to, but you know, I'm 60, and sometimes when I'm running out of my office, sometimes I do leave little things. My spiritual advisor, hello, Abaco, welcome to Freedom March. Hey, Laszlo, what's happening? Yeah. So that is some of the things that is taking place here. And there was somebody I was supposed to curse out in the newspaper, but I shall not. For a few seconds, I want to teach what is the name of the Negro woman who has escaped justice that the court issue a warrant for.
Oh, is that Christina?
What's her name?
Thompson?
She has love in her heart.
Chrissy Love?
Chrissy Love. God save the Queen. I hereby command you to come to Nassau and surrender. I put up a reward of $250. I'm now adding $50 more. How much would that be, my spiritual advisor?
The reward is what? What the,
It was $250.
that's $300 now.
Chrissy, it's a reward of $300 to anyone who can bring you safely
Don't do that,
to the
man.
court. Don't do what? I wanted the court. Now, what is the name of the Negro man who was to pay the $15,000? Omar?
Archer.
Omar, I want to show you and Chrissy how to criticize a judge of the Supreme Court without being indecent and or immoral. Today, I'm going to give the Chief Justice, His Lordship, Sir Hartman Longley, a criticism. For those Negroes who should have bought Saturday newspaper, Saturday The Guardian, I invite you to look at the back of The Guardian, and I'm going to show it to you. It's called Celebration at Liberty Overlook. Show it to my people so that they could see. There. There it is. All right. And over here, let's see, right down here, is the Lord Chief Justice, Sir Hartman Longley. I've always been displeased when judges of our high courts, the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, and the magistrate courts find themselves attending social events in which the House are either the foreign council or embassies of foreign powers. I've always had a problem with that. It is not that I do not believe that the judges are people of impeccable character and integrity. It is not because of that. But my life experience has taught me some things, and I give you one. I cannot get over how in 1999, a judge of the court drew to my attention that on the computer of His Lordship, the then Senior Justice of the Supreme Court, Mr. Emmanuel Mbeli Osadabe, had on his computer a sticker which read, donated by the DEA. What is DEA? The DEA is the Drug Enforcement Agency of the United States of America. I was offended by that. And thank God, it was a wonderful day when Sir Michael Barnett, who were to become the Chief Justice years down the road, showed up, him and two other counsel. And I said to him, Michael Barnett, read this for me. And he read the computer, and he said, donated by the DEA. And I said, read it again. And as he read it again, he caught himself, and he said, what's this? I say, do not forget today, because I shall call upon you as evidence. You see, we have cases that come from the United States government, extradition cases. I would feel very uncomfortable if I saw judges partying with U.S. officials and then must sit down and adjudicate on my case. I'm not suggesting that the judge is corrupt, but I'm suggesting that the English has a wonderful principle. And that principle is that justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. And that you must avoid the very appearance of incorruptibility. I didn't like the fact that Sir Hartman Longley was there. The picture is also interesting. Practically every powerful person in our society was celebrating at Liberty Overlook. Let's look at who are there. We have Brent Simidit. He is the Minister of Financial Services. We have Alison Maynard Gibson. She is the PLP Attorney General. We have Sir Hartman Longley. Then we have Wendell Jones. These are some of our most esteemed citizens. These are the people who can influence the society. I have no problem with all of them going, but I did have a problem with Sir Hartman Longley going. And since I'm 60, right, and ain't too much things I want other than to repair the leak on my roof, I think I'm going to say it. Sir Hartman, I want you not to go to these functions. You see, Sir Hartman, it was on April 30th of the year, 2014, 2015, or 2016, when top officials of the United States Embassy, there was a report circulating that they had incorrectly called upon senior judges. That might be a lie, but that was spread. What's the date? 16th of April. Then when we hear them things and certain judgments are made, you wonder, did the American dishonestly coerce the judicial system? But if there's an arm length approach, and then I like how the Americans maneuver. Whatever the maneuver is, do it secretly. Don't do it openly. I don't mind if you could get and compromise the system, but I don't want to know, because I want to have faith. And I'm displeased with that. When I look at this paper, all of the most powerful people in the country is here. People of great influence. You see, one of the difficulty I have, I could criticize Marvin Dames real good, but to criticize him, I have to call Allison Maynard name, because I know, as an observer, that there was a maneuver that Marvin Dames was involved with, while Allison held political power. And I said, boy, life is strange, eh? How I could easily be compromised. Because it would not be fair to attack Marvin without calling Allison name. And I don't want to call Allison name. There's some people in the PLP name I don't want to call. But how do I get Marvin without calling them? And so, Sir Hartman, I know you are a man of great integrity. But I want to give you a quote that Mr. Ricardo Marx, who Dame Joan Sawyer, while she was Chief Justice and the Americans donated the computers to us, she decided she wouldn't go and accept it. And she sent Ricardo Marx. And when Ricardo Marx went to receive the computers in the registry of the Supreme Court, and the American ambassador suggested that there be a photograph taken, he said to the American ambassador, I think it is inappropriate, and Ricardo Marx refused. That is as much as I want to say, and I hope, my Lord, I was not disrespectful or contemptuous. I'm just saying that I don't think judges should go to certain functions. I read enough spy books, saw enough spy movies, hear a bunch of things in NASA. I even read what Kendia Dames wrote about WikiLeaks and so forth. And so, I should hope and pray that my little criticism was respectful, not contemptuous.
I do not view
And may the law as practiced by Her Majesty's government and judicial system in London be applicable here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas among the Negroes. So Hartman, please don't go to any diplomatic functions. Please. Please, Sir Hartman. Sir Hartman! Please. And I'm not being contemptuous, and I respect you, because all the cases I've had before your court, with the exception of one, you've always ruled in my favor. I got tired of the judge ruling in my favor, that I became suspicious. But he's a good judge. God Save the Queen! And may our judiciary.
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV here in Nassau, Bahamas. It's been a rainy day here on the island of New Providence. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm joined in studio by my spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll.
Yes,
Bradley, sac passe.
Napoli, garçon.
Well, let me give some shout outs. Happy birthday to Miss Helena Riley. And this is from your mom, Linda Riley. And then, of course, to my Isha, Carrie's teacher at grade 4, St. Joseph, St. Francis. Well, Ms. Roll, happy birthday to you. Spiritual advisor, read text.
All right, here we go. Oh, man, quite a bit of them. Good afternoon, Senator Monker. What do I do here now?
Man, Marvin Dames going to a seminar. Big joke. All this crime. Read text, my spiritual
Yes,
advisor.
good afternoon, Senator Monker and Spiritual Advisor. Good show as always. Isn't it amazing that the Honorable Frankie Campbell, who is now the Minister of Transport and Aviation and Local Government, who is now declared to be a citizen of both the Bahamas and Haiti,
Look,
that's not true.
there's
That's
one
not
way to
true.
prove it. All right? Because Frankie, in his talk, he miscommunicated. Frankie will have to produce his naturalization certificate so we could see what the status is. Tout le monde haïtien. Vendredi passé, Frankie Campbell dit, il gagne 2 passeports. En pile monde kwe. Il mando, il gagne 2 citizenship, yon pour Haiti, yon pour Bahamas. Prime Minister dit, non. Kounia, map mande Dr. Minis pour présenter naturalization certificate pour Frankie. So I'm demanding that Dr. Minis produce Frankie naturalization certificate. Or,
He holds a Bahamian passport. As a matter of fact, I think you're aware that the Bahamas government issues, 3 passports, don't they?
do they?
Yeah, you got the normal, regular blue Bahamian passport, you have the green official passport, and you got the red diplomatic passport. Frankie Campbell could be in possession of any 2 of those.
Yes, but why?
All right? So, I mean,
Why
I don't know why
convey-
people making
no,
such
no,
a...
no, no, no. When you listen in the context, he suggested he has
No,
dual.
it's an assumption.
My spiritual advisor,
It's an
Frankie,
assumption.
misspoke. Anybody reading or
How
listening?
do you read in the context that the 2 passports would either refer to one or the other as far
the
as...
context in which he was asked a question.
if he's straight.
He suggested he had dual citizenship by misspeaking. And I'm shocked that Frankie English could be that bad. Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
boy, I tell you.
Hello.
Hello.
People is
yes.
something else.
What's happening?
Good day, Mr. Monker. How are you doing?
Listen, my fashe, I'm angry.
That's sad to hear. I wanted to know what's going on with the F&M government, why Jeff Lloyd was the acting prime minister while minister went this morning to Dominica, him and the rest of the delegation.
Well, I'm not sure because we do not know where Peter, what Peter name?
Conquest.
We don't know where the deputy prime minister is. And all the big men went with Minis. So you had to find the next senior man. And apparently,
So your FBI sources, you haven't gotten any information as
no,
yet.
I don't normally talk to the FBI. I normally talk to SIB and CID. All right? Now that I know Jeff is in charge, I'm going into hiding. All right?
Okay. Also, one more
Yeah.
thing. this gun problem. I know the
Yes.
crime is really high.
Oh, it's high.
Throughout the Bahamas.
Yes.
A lot of people are being murdered, even on the Family Islands, and the major hotspot is Nassau. Where these guns have been coming in for over 10 years now, and no real information to where these guns, the entry point for these guns.
It's
have
kind
been.
of difficult to say because the governments have not been serious with sovereignty. It leaves us to speculate. It's a combination.
Also, Mr. Monica, I have to tell you, when you was telling your viewers that the treasury wasn't broke, that the FNM was just spreading lies, I agree with you 1,000% because I just saw a report with the GDP.
Yes.
It was 8.7 billion in 2012, and now in 2017 it's up to now 10.7 billion.
Wow.
And our debt, what we owe, is only 6 billion. So our GDP is far higher than the money that we owe.
Listen, the problem that we are faced with the FNM is there are not too many saved people. Among the few saved ones, they're being dishonest. Anyway, I thank you for the call. I got some more caller, okay?
All right, no problem.
Spiritual advisor text. Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
Hello, Mr. Manka.
So,
How you doing?
listen, I'm fashy, angry.
Oh, you ain't got me.
Yes, I got you. Talk.
Hey, okay. Did you see something that I see now where they got in New York advertising for employees for Bahamas, and you have people here in the Bahamas here waiting for Bahamas to call them to work who used to work there before. They got people advertising
In New York?
Bahamas for opening for positions for general manager, pastry chefs, sous
Really?
chefs, resident manager, restaurant manager, pool, beach managers and stuff, and all type of different things they're giving them.
Well, first of all, you gotta fax the Minister of Labor, that's Dion Folks, and draw to his attention that there are thousands of people who were trained there and should be given first preference.
Right, because then you got Bahamians, hundreds of us are waiting now.
It's horrible. Listen, the second Saturday in October, we are marching. All of y'all who ain't got no job, whatever you're angry for, come, let's march against menace
Yes,
and the forces of evil.
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, man, but that's not right, man. They
It's
need to
not
offer
right.
the Bahamians these jobs first. And it's up in New York they're advertising.
Goodness of mercy, I'm so happy that you figure it out. You know, I never did like Bahama.
Yeah, you're doing a wonderful job. You and your spirit advisor.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Take good
much.
And I'm
Okay.
one of the brothers them. So
Listen.
this is Commander. I'll get back in contact with you. Thanks a lot.
You're a good man. We must march peacefully.
Yes, we'll march. We'll be there.
This is powerful.
Thank you very much.
God bless you and God save the Queen.
Okay.
My spiritual advisor read text.
All right, here we go.
Don't take no more phone. Let's read these texts. Go ahead.
Read yours, because I can't get my phone.
You can't
this
get your
thing.
phone working, my spiritual advisor? What's going on? Let's see what
Here
they
we
say.
go. Okay, got it now.
Good day, Mr. Monka. I would like to know, where is Mrs. Lanisha Roll office is now located, since the office on Prince Charles is closed down and now appears to be a preschool. Listen, you can find Mrs. Lanisha Roll's office. You remember where that Royal Bank is? Well, she is on the eastern boundary, right between Bethel Avenue and Royal Bank. The big building right there. Somebody say it's Sebastian building, I ain't sure. Well, just go there. And that's where you can find her, okay? And then, of course, tomorrow is Cabinet Day. If you get to the Prime Minister office bright and early, you should see her when she's pulling up in her Spankadocious cabinet car.
Okay, good day, Mr. Monka. Just to let you know that the DPM is in Dominica as well.
Did Minister carry the whole government?
Um,
Goodness of mercy.
Good afternoon. You finished? Okay,
Go
good
ahead.
afternoon, Mr. Monica, and spiritual advisor. Are you aware that the Honorable Frankie Campbell was once in charge of the affairs station in Haiti, the consular office, and the person in charge of issuing Bahamian visas to Haitians to travel to Bahamas?
Yeah, I know when Frankie was down there. Yeah, Papa chose him. And since Papa chose him, I know he did everything honestly.
Mr. Monica, I don't agree with you saying the massacre is a result of Americans having the rights to bear arms in their constitution and carry machine guns, because guns illegal in the Bahamas. Guns are illegal in Bahamas, and these fellas carrying machine guns as well. When someone makes up their mind to commit a crime, Mr. Monica, you know, it is what it is. Lawlessness in the United States and in the Bahamas
The
as
people
well.
in the Bahamas who got machine gun, they have it unlawfully. In the United States, their constitution has been interpreted the right to bear arms. When that constitution meant a militia to defend the sovereignty of the United States, when King George III, they overthrow him.
Good day, gents. Mr. Monica,
Yes.
please pay attention. The mere fact that Mr. Roll asked you what you hope to gain by the march says that he is against or has no support or disapprove of your way of thinking. That being said, did he show up to any of the march you organized?
Listen, the spiritual advisor is subject to F&M victimization.
Oh,
I don't want him
God.
to come because I would like for him to be able to get one or two of them contract. Hi, Mr. Monka. I just thought I'll put this out there. You look very splendid today. I love that show and tell you put up on the screen. I find that amusing. Menace is crying in to see, goodness somebody see, crying in to see what he did to the Bahamian people. And Menace thinking how to finish the Bahamians off. From Ginger. Ginger, listen, you're my favorite cake. Well, Mr. Monka, man is subject to fall. They are falling the nations, they're failing the nations every day until they understand only what is done for Christ will last. It's no vision. The people will continue to perish. Ginger, you're wonderful. Go ahead.
Good day, Mr. Monica. Can you give my mom, Zell Pinder, a shout out all the way from Iguana? She
Zell
watches your show.
Pinder, you and Make Wanna? Listen, I love you. And you're one of the women them. This is powerful.
Good afternoon, Senator. What do you think about this? When the PM is out of the country, I thought the DPM acts as PM. Why is it that the Minister of Education is acting as PM? Sounds like you don't trust the DPM. Well, we already know that the DPM is in Dominica
I
as
didn't
well.
see the DPM come off that helicopter.
No?
No.
Okay.
Listen, I don't know what Dr. Minister is doing. All I know that as long as Jeff is the acting prime minister, I'm going into hiding because he now knows that I know who is Sister Clotilde. Go ahead.
Let's see. Where we go? Right here.
Good day, Mr. Monka. Please don't forget about the people them who didn't reserve their pay for the repair at the schools. Okay? And Mr. Big Shot Neville Johnson, who think it's okay to tell the world PLPs keep begging his boss, Mr. Wells, for a job. Thank you for reminding me. What is Mr. Wells' first name? The Minister of Agriculture.
That's Renwood Wells.
Renwood Wells, I need a favor. Your chauffeur, Neville Johnson, speak to him. Tell him whatever confidential information he obtains by virtue of being in your presence, he must keep his big black mouth shut. Tell him don't do that. All right? All morning, people have been telling me what he has been doing. Tell him by doing that, he compromises your office. Keep quiet. Those who provide security and those who provide chauffeuring should learn to see and pretend like they didn't see and hear and keep their mouth closed. All right? Neville Johnson, stop it. Too many people are complaining about what you are saying. Don't do that. All right? Hold on to your nice little job and keep your mouth closed. Go ahead.
Mr. Monica, there seems to be a plan for Dominica, but nothing for the second city. Spiritual advisor, you're a hypocrite. No one is closing their bowels of compassion for Dominica, but please consider the fact that Grand Bahama is in need of dire attention. What are we to do? Hello. Girls, them sugar, we love you, and we love your bow tie from the women, them.
This is
Farrington Clan. That's an old text.
Senator tells spiritual advisor Stan Dan. Frankie spoke, people heard him on national airways. So now he's being judged on his very own statement. The onus is on Frankie to clear it up because he put it out. There, man tells spiritual advisor to be real. Let me give you a story. In 1972, the late, what was Mr. Outen name? Goodness of mercy.
Sidney.
Sinclair.
Sinclair.
The late Sinclair Outen. He ran for the PLP and he defeated Sir Randall Fox, who was Minister of Labor. Randall Fox always had a secret, and he knew that Sinclair Outen was not a citizen of the Bahamas. And after Sinclair won the seat, the information came out. He had to resign because he was not a citizen. I don't know if Frankie is the new Sinclair Outen. So Pinling was a man who was thorough. He told Sinclair Outen, resign. Sinclair Outen resigned today, and the following day Pinling made him a citizen of the Bahamas, and they called another election, and Sinclair Outen won his seat. Is Frankie another Sinclair Outen? I don't know. And Frankie should not have misspoke. And if there is doubt as to whether or not Frankie is a citizen of the Bahamas, there are two ways by which we can determine it. One, if his father married his mother, then by virtue of that marriage, Frankie would be automatically a citizen because he would have taken citizenship from his dad. If his father did not marry his mother, then Frankie could only have become a citizen by virtue of applying for citizenship and being granted a certificate of naturalization. Since I can't trust the FNM, Frankie will have to produce his certificate of naturalization. Tout le monde haïtien. Frankie parle en pile fait bagay. Cindy dit, il gagne des passeports, il gagne des citizenship. M'a mandé information pour ver est-ce qu'il gagne certificat naturalization. Okay? Parce que ma pas trust Frankie and ma pas trust Minis.
Yeah, because I mean the Prime Minister is saying that he's satisfied that Frankie doesn't hold dual citizenship.
Well, he should tell Frankie, he should stop putting Frankie in the front of a TV.
You know,
there are many Negroes. Once you put them in the front of a camera, they talk and peel fool. All right?
Yeah.
I don't know what Frankie is doing. Frankie is going to let us down.
Obviously, there's a
I
misunderstanding.
want my people, the Haitian people, to be proud of you. But that's what you get. You won't do nothing for us. Huh? All you talk but use Haitian, but you won't do nothing for us? Nothing. Nous pas gagner travail. Ou pas parler avec ministère responsable pour éducation pour dire ouvert l'école là pour tout peuple haïtien. Ou pas faire ça. Salope. Yes, my spiritual
But you know that's
advisor.
been corrected, man. Come on now, Mr.
What has
Man.
been
Man, be
corrected?
fair, man. Come on
My
now.
spiritual advisor.
Be
there
fair.
is
Why we keep
nothing-
going down the road, man?
What did I say?
Oh,
What did
man.
I say?
The Haitian children can go to school.
Really?
You know that and I know that.
My-
Good afternoon, my lady. Can you send a shout out to my daughter, Suri? Today is her
Suri.
birthday and she is one of the children now and it's coming from her mother, Alana.
Suri, happy birthday. It's from your mom, Alana. You were one of the child them, and she's one of the woman them, and I am demanding that she brings you on this great march, if God spare all of our lives.
Mr. Monco, did the Prime Minister order the RBDF boats to carry supplies to family analysts who needed help?
No. No. Remember what I told you. The name North, it is a French name. The Norths are from Haiti and Dominica and French-speaking Caribbean islands. We are now learning that Dr. Minnis' maternal grandfather is from Dominica. Can't blame the man if he look out for he grandpa people.
Hi, Mr. Monica. I'm spiritual advisor. Mr. Menace need to go to Hollywood. He's a good actor. What Frederick McAlpine said is the truth. Freeport really needs the help. They're doing Freeport so bad, Mr. Monica. Port Lucaya is dead.
Wow.
Mr. Monica, we need help.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it.
Good evening, gentlemen. I will take some pictures in Freeport so you can see how some people can't afford to live any better.
It's time you all march.
Where they live now, part of the roofs and windows are out from
Wow.
Hurricane Matthew. No light and no water.
Wow.
Mr. Monica, you tell that Mr. Roll he is not safe or he playing safe.
Wow. When will Candia use her poison pen to attack Marvin on crime? She wouldn't dare do that to Marvin. Candia know where to rub her skin. She wouldn't do it to Marvin. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Monica. Can you send a shout out to Rokeem Mitchell Robinson?
Rokeem
Mitchell
Robinson
from his mom, Zonette.
It's from your mom,
Zonette Emmanuel.
Zonette Emmanuel.
Yeah, wishing him a happy 11th birthday. Love your show, Mr. Monica.
Listen, you're 11 years old. Have manners, and respect the wishes of your parents. Go ahead.
Here we go. I thought the Dominicans
Yes.
were bringing their teachers. They could use the old Bishop Leonard School.
Well, they got Belinda Wilson, the president of the union. She's in Dominica, and they have the president of the Christian Council. Interestingly enough, both organizations, when it came to Crown Land, their names came up. Now, of course, in fairness to the president of the Christian Council, he was upset. He said they never asked ministers for Crown Land. He don't know where that come from. But we know that the president of the teachers union, she has been in negotiation with the government over Crown Land. So, everybody got a good deal going on. And I have no problem with it. I just think he should disclose it. That's what I think.
Mr. Monica, are you aware that they're passing a law in the House where people can only march once a year?
Oh, no. You don't be concerned about that. Be concerned about the spy bill. You remember Minnis and his political dishonesty when he criticized the spy bill. Now the one that the FNM is introducing is worse than the PLP. But meanwhile, that Negro man named Ronald Hanfield, you can't hear from him. And you can't hear from Johnny Boswick because Janet and Henry them got him hide. Can't hear from him.
Mr. Monica, didn't the Ministry of Education, or didn't the Minister of Education say that they have a teacher shortage? Well, here's an opportunity for them to recruit all the teachers they need, and of course their children will have to accompany them. Opening the borders will cost money, so hand go, hand come. Mr. Monica, was there any reach out and help in Haiti?
They don't like us. They don't like us.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monica. No, this is a very old text.
Okay.
I don't know if I should read these.
Well-
Mr. Monica, did Jeff tell the people, at least some of them, to be terminated based on the performance? He also say no job letters for some people who've been working for 5 and 6 years.
Listen,
It's
take
sad.
it from me. Jeff Lloyd is not a saved man. Take it from me. He has a hog heart. I have studied that man for years. Go ahead.
Mr. Monica, just a point of information. All those persons at the Ministry of Education were hired 6, 7, or 10 years ago. So the FNM hired them, not the PLP. So tell Mr. Lloyd it was his party that did those people.
But still do not fire them. And still do not fire the people from Inland Revenue. But if you all sit back and allow the government to fire you and you don't speak up, well, what you want me to do? You got to join this march. Saturday the 14th. It's time to march peacefully. You see what happened? Our first march was so huge that the most the worthless media was prepared to do is give us a little picture and hurry up, hope that everybody forgot. But we must stand up. It's a democracy. It's the price for a democracy? Spiritual advisor, Ray Dex.
Spiritual advisor, tell Mr. Monka that I hope he and those crazy Bahamians who are going to march straight to...
Say what the person say.
March straight to hell and burn that. Well, that's not nice.
Well, just say what that Negro say. Just say what the Negro say. So I can tell him to Likido Mama.
Good day, Mr.
And Cheng Wong, 42.
Good day, Mr. Munkin, spiritual advisor. Blessings. The world is going crazy. Jah is coming soon. We must pray. The devil is destroying the family structure, marriages, and the way of living. We have to go back to the basics, to loving our brothers and sisters, like God says. Mama, the future is making us weaker. Take me back to the 60s. Don't miss the 60s, Mr. Monk, also.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show. It's still a sad day, but we're getting reports. The Tribune has reported that the police has a number of Negro suspects in custody relative to the shooting of the student. So that's a developing story taking place, that they have somebody in custody. And then the weekend was mad. First, they found a whole white woman in Cat Island murdered and a whole Negro man in Marshall Road. Be safe. See you all tomorrow if it is God's will. Take good care.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.